In King's Landing, Brandon Stark, King of the Six Kingdoms, received word that Lord Enmius Tully's forces had defeated the savage Dothraki, and that the combined armies of House Tully and Arryn had begun the siege of Harrenhal, seeking to bring an end to Khal Raga's blood-soaked campaign. Yet, just as the news arrived, a tremendous roar shocked the capital, followed by a chorus of terrified screams. Pushed by Brienne of Tarth, Brandon rolled his wheelchair onto the balcony of his chambers and stared in awe. There, soaring above the city, was a dragon, the same beast that had once laid waste to King's Landing, reducing it to ruin and ash. Fear gripped the people below, believing that death had returned for a second reckoning. But this time, the rider was no destroyer. It was Aegon Targaryen, known once as Jon Snow, the true heir to the Iron Throne, a man whose heart was filled not with malice, but with honor, kindness, and justice. The dragon swooped lower toward the Red Keep. Brandon and Aegon locked eyes across the vast distance. Then, obeying a silent command, the dragon descended near the gates. The newly formed gold cloaks rushed to encircle the beast, their spears trembling in their hands. Aegon dismounted and raised his hands in peace, declaring he sought only to negotiate. After tense deliberation, he was escorted inside the fortress to stand before the king. Brandon took his place upon his wooden throne. The two cousins faced each other, the weight of the realm hanging between them. Aegon spoke plainly. Dragonstone could no longer remain in Velaryon hands. A Targaryen lived, and by right, the ancient fortress belonged to him. Brandon, ever the judge of law, reminded him that he had once taken the black, forsaken titles, claims, and even his family ties. But Aegon, passion burning in his voice, argued that he had saved Westeros, fought the dead beyond the wall, bled for the living, and had been repaid only with exile and silence. He had given everything. Now, he asked only to reclaim his legacy. A heavy silence fell. Finally, Brandon conceded. Dragonstone would be his, but only if he bent the knee and swore eternal loyalty to the crown. Realizing that this was but the first step in restoring House Targaryen, Aegon knelt, swearing his fealty. But in his heart, amid the gathering storms of Westeros, a seed of unrest was planted. Thus, Aegon Targaryen, true-born son of Rhaegar Targaryen, reclaimed his name and his ancestral seat. Mounting his dragon, he soared towards Dragonstone, the winds of destiny filling his wings. Meanwhile, in the hidden halls of Old Town, the Lords of Rebellion gathered once more. There, Victarion Greyjoy revealed a secret weapon, a relic of ancient terror, the dragon horn, said to bend even dragons to the will of its master. The revelation stunned the rich lords. The question loomed. Had the hour for rebellion finally come? Victarion believed it had. Thus the armies of Hightower, Redwyne, Hewitt, and Greyjoy would muster their strength and prepare for war. But they would wait. Wait for the realm to fracture further until the perfect moment to strike. Far to the north, at Harrenhal, the siege reached its bloody crescendo. Without archers to defend the walls, the Dothraki had gathered within, ready to meet death head-on. The few Tully infantry who survived the Dothraki charges led the battering ram towards the gate. The ram reached the gate without resistance, and after several heavy blows, the doors gave way. Edmure Tully's forces poured in, quickly blocking off all exits and positioning archers to rain arrows upon the barbarian forces. The Knights of the Vale then entered ahead of the Tully infantry, taking the lead in the assault. After devastating volleys from the archers, the Knights, led by Jon Royce, charged fiercely, surrounding the Dothraki. Steel clashed, and blood painted the ancient stones. Khal Rhaga, encircled by the iron grave of House Arryn, fell beneath their blades. Victory was theirs. With Harrenhal secured, House Tully's forces remained stationed in Harrenhal, awaiting further orders, while the Knights of the Vale returned home. Edmure Tully and Jon Royce set forth toward King's Landing, beating the severed head of Khal Rhaga, proof of their triumph. But even as the South celebrated, shadows crept across the North. In Winterfell, the wedding of Queen Sansa Stark to Lord Darin Homewood was underway. All the North had gathered in joyous celebration, feasting, singing, and dancing in the halls of the ancient castle. Under the sacred weirwood tree, Sansa and Darin spoke their vows before the old gods, sealing their union. Even Arya Stark shed a few tears of emotion, knowing that the marriage would ensure the future of House Stark. Yet as laughter and music filled the air, death struck. A hooded assassin emerged from the crowd, dagger in hand, crying out, "Death to the Starks!" He plunged the blade into Sansa's back. Chaos erupted. Before he could strike again, Arya Stark, faster than thought, hurled her dagger into his eye, ending him instantly. But the damage was done. Sansa lay bleeding, her life slipping away. Guards and healers rushed to her side, beating her to her chambers as Arya knelt by the corpse of the assassin. Upon his arm, she found a strange and foreboding mark. A black sword encircled by blood, a sigil unknown and filled with dread. Dark forces were stirring, and Arya Stark vowed to uncover them. Meanwhile, in King's Landing, the commanders of the victorious armies returned. Brandon Stark received them warmly, and Tyrion Lannister expressed relief at Aegon Targaryen's oath of loyalty. Khal Raga's severed head was mounted above the gates, a warning to all who threaten the peace of the realm. For when one stains their path with blood, it eventually consumes them, until their own blood marks the end of that path. But peace would be short-lived. Two ravens arrived that very night, one bringing news of the attack at Winterfell, the other bearing reports of ominous military movements by houses Hightower and Redwyne. The storm was breaking, and as Aegon Targaryen soared toward Dragonstone, he glimpsed a vast fleet on the horizon. Above them flew a banner he knew too well, a black field bearing a red three-headed dragon. The banner of House Targaryen. Westeros stood upon the edge of destruction, and the winds of chaos had begun to howl.